Hi there, Rico Rocks 2001 here. You clicked this video because you want to see a difference in the variations of the PlayStation 1, specifically all the fat models, even the Ps1 Slim model. So that's the main focus of the video. This is the 1001 model since we're going to go in order. And if I do skip a model, then that's because either 1, I don't have it, or 2, they never made that model. So yeah. Also, since it's North America, it's always 1001. In Japan, it's always 1000 even. And in Europe, it's 1002 or 1003 or 1004, depending on where you're from. So, yeah. Anyway, this is the 1001 model. You have your 2 controller ports and 2 memory cards, like all the PlayStation 1s have. You have your power button, reset button, and your open button. The laser assembly is on the upper left on the 1000 model. So, yeah. And there's a little button that indicates that the system is closed and it will start reading the game. And on the back, let me show you something. This is only on the 1000 models. Well, I'll go through further detail on each of the models. You have your AC in. It uses a regular figure power cable. Same one as the Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, and a few other systems. Even the fat PS2 uses this plug. You have the AV multi-out if you're going to use SCART or RGB, stuff like that, use this port. But if this one has the video out, the left and right plugs, and you have the RFU DC out, which uses some kind of cable that old camcorders used. You know those older camcorders that you plug in to hook to your TV? This uses the same plug. And this is your serial port. And over here is the parallel port. This was used to connect to cheat in games and stuff, but I don't have anything that uses that, so bummer. Another thing I should point out, this is written in ink. On the later models it was just engraved plastic or raised plastic. This one is the SCPH 1001, made in November of 1996. There's also 5 screws holding the bottom of this. So yeah, when you turn it on, it basically reads the game. Also, you can swap the laser from this one from a Ps1 Slim. What I recommend is, there's one guy who actually modded his case to fit the Slim laser. Don't do what he did. He cut the plastic right here, but there's a better option. Just take the cover off of this one and the one off the Slim and switch it around. You don't need to cut the plastic. It would make it look ugly. This is much more nicer. Anyway, the next model that came after that is the 5000, or the 5501, this one is. Now, people may be saying, what about the 2000, the 3000, or the 4000? They didn't make those models. They just skipped right over to the 50,000. Now, it has your same power button and your reset button and the open button, just like the 1000, except the laser is moved to the far right because the original 1000s had problems with video skipping and stuff like that. So it was probably smart of Sony to move the laser to the bottom right. So I heard these models are actually better than the 1000. Well, for laser assemblies, you can just swap the laser. It has your same design. The only difference is on the back is you don't have the cables for the back anymore. But if you're going to use the cable for the AV multi-out, it shouldn't be a problem. And here's your AC in, same plug, and the parallel port, same. But the catch is, Sony got fed up with people using the parallel port, so they put some security stuff on it. If you're going to want to use the parallel port, you're going to want to do a modification for this. I'm not going to do that because I have no use for it. Also, this one is the 5501 model. This one was made in April of 1998, around the time the DualShock was going to come out. Also, these later models use 6 screws holding the case instead of just 5 like the 1000 model. So that's the 5501. Now let's take a look at the next one, that being the 7000 series. This is the 7501. This one is basically the same design as the 5501, but the major difference is they still have the parallel port on the back, but when you turn on the BIOS menu and play a music CD, on the 1000 and 5000, if you hit select, it will act as stop. Just like the Slim PS1, if you hit select, you get those pretty colors and stuff. That's what I like about the 7000 and the 9000 model. That was a nice addition to the BIOS menu. On the front, of course, you have your same design, so I won't go over that again. However, this is a weird thing I just noticed. On the 7000 and the 1000, let me show you a side-by-side comparison. Let me get my 5000 back. Take a look at the AV multi-out and the serial port. These look more well designed. These look a bit cheaper. I don't know why they chose to do that on the 1000 and 5000. Also, both of them have this, like I said, these both have the parallel port, but there are some security improvement and stuff on both of them. So yeah, take this one out of the way and go back to the bottom. This one is the 7501, and this one was made in October of 1998. So basically they came out with the 7000 series a few months later than the 5000. Basically the same design as the 7000 or 5000, but when you take it apart, it starts to become more noticeable. And there's the final fat model, that being the 9000 series. Basically the 7000 series is when consoles start becoming bundled with the DualShock controller, the controllers with the analog sticks and vibration. It's basically the same design with the laser on the far right. Sony did the right thing, moving the laser to the right. Same power in each reset, same controller port. But the major difference on the 9000 series is they took off the parallel ports. Basically, Sony got fed up with the ports. In fact, they lost the some case, and Sony said, you know what, screw it, we're taking off the parallel port. It has your same serial port, AV multi-out, and ACN. This was when the price began to drop down drastically. So yeah, at the bottom it says 9001, and this one was made in October 1999. Hey, this one's a year younger than the 7501 that I have. Basically, they use this, and the 7000 use the same laser, so if you're going to take the guts out of, or use the laser out of this one and you want to use your 7000, you can do that. There's also one final model of the PS1, and that being, let me reach it, the Ps1 Slim. I actually have two of these. The controller ports are smaller, or the size is smaller, obviously. You have your eject button and your reset power. It's just your generic push button. It's not like the PS2 where you can tap it to reset it and then hold it to turn it off fully. So yeah. On the back you have your DC 7.5 volts. They switch from an internal to external power supply, but it has your same AV multi-out. They took off the serial port on the Slim PS1 since not many games use the serial port. If you want to use the serial port, get a fat model PlayStation 1, not the 9000. Try the 7000 or the 5000 or even the 1000. And on the bottom, this one was made in doesn't say, it's the SEPH 101. It's basically the last model of the PS1 before they decided to move on to the PS2. What makes this thing really interesting is on the back you can screw on an LCD screen, and I actually own the PS1 LCD screen. Believe it or not, I actually bought it on eBay about a month ago. In fact, let me take this one out of the way, and here it is. This is my other PS1 Slim. I use this one to test out the LCD screen. Pretty cool, huh? Whenever you power it on, you can basically, the thing that's cool about this is you can power on the same thing through the same power supply. You don't need to take the screen off to power on the PS1. And you don't need to take the AV multi-out off if you want to hook it up to a TV. They may pass through these. You also have an AV, or that's the headphone jack, and an AV in jack where you can hook up other stuff to the PS1 screen. That's what makes these things really cool about doing mods and stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I got this just to use it for my PS1 Slim. I wasn't going to intend to use a mod on it. However, I might get a jack on it just for the AV in jack for this and show it off in a future video. So yeah. Anyway, out of all the PS1 models, which one do you have and which one's your favorite out of them all? I'm Rico Rocks 2001, and I'm signing off.